Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video, the baby dog and I. He took a shower yesterday. He's feeling much better because of that. I made this shirt here myself out of a combination of different patchworks, and I like it. It is a very nice summer shirt that I made. And I wanted to make this video actually as a discussion together with Paul, but he gave me a long lecture that first he said, yeah, we can do that. He was already in quite a bad mood. And then after berating me for an hour, he was in such a bad mood that he said, I'm in too bad of a mood, I can't make a video like this. And I wasn't allowed to show him. That would only be his voice. And then he said, then if his voice is in the video, then that could be someone could hear that voice and identify him by his voice. But he is not even famous. No one already knows him. So how can you identify someone by their voice if that person is not even publicly known, right? So that it's just a totally unreasonable paranoia that I'm not on board with. But whatever, I said I want to talk to him about philosophy and ethics, and that was too vague for him. So I said, okay, what's the main subject here that's on my mind is the cruelty of factory farms. So let's stick with the subject. I'm willing to stick with the subject. I know I'm always all over the place when I talk, but I wanted to make a video with him and discuss this and dissect this and talk this through, this entire subject of factory farms, okay, which we are both against, and we're both very strong animal rights activists, and that is the most important on our minds and chest, okay, so it's like the most important subject there is. That's, if you ask me, that's the most important subject. The gestation crates, okay, putting mother pigs in gestation crates where they cannot even move, they can't even turn around themselves. They are cramped into these bars, and then they can't even turn around. They are on their ribs, and often the ribs break because they're constantly on that side. Can you imagine if you sleep even one night only on one side? There are some people that are paralyzed from the neck down, and they have to be turned over by a turntable in an intensive care. Okay, I know this because I read a book by someone who had that happen to him, and he went through this. It was gruesome to be paralyzed like this and be in a hospital for months and months. Most people never come out of that, and with this guy, Clemens Kubi, he came out of that because he wanted to come out of it. He was very, very intentional, mind over matter, to come out of it. And then his body started to feel things again, which is a miracle because there was a spinal cord severing through an accident. He fell from a roof and fell on something that pierced through his spinal cord, which made him paralyzed. But he made it through, and he talked about it. He said how unbelievably cruel that is, to be paralyzed and then have to be turned over all the time by people turning this bed over, and so that he's not always on one side. And they do it to pigs that are every bit as sentient as we are, okay? And they put them into, they're not paralyzed, they put them into a physical state, basically, where they're just as much as paralyzed, right? Where they're lying on the side, and there are metal bars over this animal, all over the animal, like held in one place. And then when she gives birth, and the piglets, they drink the milk through the bars, through those prison bars. Every time I see the images, I get shortness of breath just talking about it, just thinking about this. It gives me heart problems just thinking about this. And every time I see the photos, I have to immediately click that off, because it bothers me so much that I get nervous breakdowns just from seeing that. It is so unbelievably cruel and horrific. And it is completely unnecessary to do something like this. Just because these factory farmers, because they want to save some space there, so they can have thousands of mother pigs in there, next to one another, crammed. It's unbelievably horrific. I've seen a video once that touched me so to the core. There was a factory farm, I don't know where it was, I think it was in Germany, where they have a little bit more space, where they're not pinned down, like here in the United States. They had a little bit more space, but they had a very small confined stall just for each animal. And one of the mother pigs was very, very, very smart, and they're all young. They are like, it's from puberty to about 2 years of age, so that's how long they have to endure this before they get slaughtered. And then the next ones come in, because they want to always have the young ones to give birth, go through this cruel torture, and then they're being dispensed, and they're being killed and used for meat, because they still want to use young meat, right? So the whole thing is just, it's unbelievable exploitation of animals that are every bit as sentient as we are. And in this one video, there was a mother pig. She didn't have piglets yet. I guess she was impregnated. They don't even get to have normal interaction with a male. They get artificially inseminated. All of this is cruel. The males are being artificially taken from with the sperm. They take the sperm from them. Temple Grandin talked about this in her book. She said it is unbelievably horrific what these pigs are going through, the male pigs too, when they're being milked for their sperm. These pigs, they look at the farmers like they are completely insane. Like, what the fuck are you doing to me here? Okay, and that's how they look at them, with human eyes. They are fully sentient, just like we are. They have every single feeling that we have. They have grief, they have joy, they have love, they have compassion, every bit as a human. And this one mother pig that was in this one stall, I believe that was in Germany, she had just enough space to turn around herself, stand up, and also prop herself up to look at the other pigs around her. And they were even able to put their noses together, so at least they had that. So she was able to figure out how to open the latch of the door. She tried for a long time with the nose. They have a lot of sensory perception in their noses. They dig up things, they smell all kinds of things. They're able to find truffle mushrooms under the ground. That's why they were used for truffle finding. And that was on camera, how her nose was probing around there with that latch. Finally got the latch to open. She got the door to open. She went out there. She didn't just run out. No. She opened every single cage of the other mother pigs. Okay? Why? Because of compassion. Okay. Just want to make this very crystal clear. How sentient these beings are. Okay? So, that puts things into perspective for us. You cannot eat pigs anymore. You cannot. If you have a good heart, you cannot do it. This has to come to an end. And these animals, these beautiful beings, they do not want to be dirty in a dirty stall. Okay? They do not want to be stuck there with their own urine and feces. Okay? They don't want to be lying down in their feces, just like you don't want to do that. They don't like the smell of it. They don't like to have mites eating their skin because of filthy conditions. Okay? They are not dirty animals. They are extremely clean animals. You're dirty if you don't take a shower, right? Same with the pig. Exactly the same. So, if the pig doesn't get the chance to wash herself or himself, male or female pig or baby pigs, if they don't have a pond to go in or a mud pond to go in to protect themselves from mosquitoes and go into a stream and wash herself, okay, there. If they don't have that opportunity, if they're cramped in a stall where they have to lie down in their own feces or cramped together with other pigs where they even kill each other, that's even worse. And also lie down in their own feces or other pigs' feces. Okay, they don't want that. And I've seen all of this already in the world happening. It's an absolute Holocaust, and that's what it is. It's actually worse than the Holocaust. Worse, it's worse. Okay, there's a lot of people that took offense when people said that. How can you compare the Jewish people to factory farms? I do, not because I'm bashing Jewish people, but because I compare them to myself too. Because the factory farm animals are every bit as sentient as humans are, and dogs. And other mammals, cows and cats and whales and dolphins. Okay? So just keep this in mind. This is very important. This is what I have to say about this subject. They have compassion. She knows, the mother pig knows how she suffered. She knows how the other ones suffer because she suffered. So she empathizes with the other pigs. She opens the cage, then she opens the other cages. Because I am you, I am them, I am the pigs. The pigs are me. She is the other pigs are her. There is no separation of self from the other. Okay? There are so many guru type of people out there that want to get some recognition, and they talk about selflessness and raising your vibrations, right? But they never talk about the factory farms. They never talk about this. They think they are so wise and they are so advanced and high vibrational, but they never, ever, ever talk about the horrors of the factory farms. Out of mind, out of sight. If they hear about it, they don't want to hear about it. If someone talks to them about it, they walk away. But they call themselves high vibrational, oh, so high-minded. No, that's a lie, okay? These people are not high-minded. Those people are selfish, and they are very, very egocentric. And maybe worse even, okay? So who knows what these people would do for selfish reasons. And many of them still eat the meat of pigs. Many of these so-called or self-proclaimed high vibrational gurus. I have no respect for those people. If you want to get my respect, if you want me to think that you care, then you should talk about the horrors of factory farms and bring attention to it, public attention, as wide public attention as possible, worldwide attention to this, so that everyone knows what is happening there behind these closed walls and doors and gates. Okay? Everyone should know. Tony Robbins said that he went to a factory farm. He saw it for himself. And he said, after you've gone there just for one day, you cannot eat these animals ever again. And he gets my respect for that, because he talked about it. And he never claimed to be high vibrational guru or something. He's a motivational coach, and he stuck to that title. Yet, and he even said humbly, he's not that genius, or he's not that much, or he's not that advanced, or whatever. He's quite selfish, and he voted Republican and so on. Didn't even vote for Al Gore. But even he did it. He talked about the factory farms, because it's a Holocaust. It's worse than a Holocaust. It's a horror right there in our country that's going on. And Tony Robbins talked about it because he cares. He has compassion. And he gets my respect. Those people that talk about this and don't ignore this, don't walk away from it, they get my respect. So, just wanted to get this very, very clearly sorted out. All of that. Very important. And Paul cares every bit as much as I care, and maybe, hopefully, I hope for it, that one day he takes the courage and will do a conversation with me for the video. And he wants to have it on his channel, because he thinks then the haters don't hear him. The haters hear us on all channels and on all devices. Okay, so, but he still has this illusion that maybe if we do this conversation and then upload it to his channel, then it will be somehow better, and I'm willing to do it, so maybe we can do it. And I will use both computers. We'll use this computer as well as his computer, and then we can show me from both computers, because he doesn't want to be seen, but we have his computer closer to him so that the voice gets into his computer. And I have this computer on my lap, and it will show me and my voice, but we also have to get his voice, so maybe we should put the computers in the middle between us, somehow figure it out. Okay, so that, and then have both computers showing me, which is ridiculous, but yeah, because he doesn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be seen either in the beginning. That was in 2007 when I first when I got my first YouTube channel. And I was so naive. I used my actual name. Man, I had deleted that channel since then because I don't want my actual name out there. So I learned since then, learned a lot. I was very naive still at that time. I was still in my 30s at that time. So that was, we learn, okay, as we go through life, we learn a lot about other people and about the dangers of existence. And I don't see much of a danger in existence with wild animals. I encountered wild animals, even mother animals, which is very dangerous to encounter mother animals when they have babies. It's very, very dangerous. You can get mauled, okay, because they don't know you, they don't know your intentions, they don't know what people are about. And when they feel threatened, particularly when they feel like their nest and their baby animals are threatened, or she interprets it that way, she can come after you. So it's not her fault, that's her mother instinct. But I understand her. So I heard this deep, deep growl over there behind those trees there. It was at night, and we had the papa dog, or European Basset Hound. And he's my baby, right? And I am protecting my baby, and she's protecting her babies. And that was probably a cougar. I mean, that bobcat, yeah, a very large feline, a very large kitty. Okay, so definitely at least 4 times the size of a kitty cat. That's what that sounded like. That's what these deep vocal cords sounded like. Deep growl, and I thought, oh my God, a werewolf is hiding behind there, growling at me. And I started to completely freak out and panic. And that's something you don't want to do, you know. You want to stay calm and grounded. And you should even talk to that being and say, it's okay, mama animal. I am not hurting your babies. I am just here with my baby. And so I got the papa back in the house. I locked the door. But what I should have done is I should have talked calmly to that mother animal and calmly got the papa to come with me back in the house. Okay. That's what I should have done. But I completely freaked out because of that very deep growl. Okay, so, and then the papa, and on another time when, you know, the papa had to always, he has to go out to the bathroom, and then he would do his Zen walk real slowly around the whole garden. And at this last stop, he would go under that cedar tree. And that's where there was a mother kitty cat with babies. Yes, kitty cat. Yeah, when I say kitty cat, he gets very, very alert. The kitty cat, yes. Oh, yeah. And then he has to look and see if there's a kitty cat out there. Yes, kitty cat. So he got bitten by a kitty cat in the cedar tree one time, and he also got bitten by a larger cat because he had a bite wound on the top of his back, and that larger cat, I don't know, lynx or bobcat or cougar even, but I think it was probably a bobcat because I don't think the cougars are coming here into people's properties. They're probably too afraid. But we have seen a bobcat off and on this property and on the neighbor's property. And they are about 3 times the size of a normal kitty cat. So they're very large cats, and they have larger fangs. And there was a mother bobcat in that cedar tree out there, and the papa was so short that, and they were bred for that, even to go under the brush to bring fallen prey birds that have been shot by hunters, to bring them to the hunters. So they were specifically bred for that, the European basset hounds. So he's an American Staffordshire. He will go out there, and any animal he finds out there, he will shred until they're dead. And he's recently done that with the skunk. So, and yesterday I finally found the carcass, and the carcass had already been completely gutted and eaten by scavenger animals and probably turkey vultures. So that was very sad to see. And I talked to him just like I talked to a person about it, and guess what? He felt bad. I didn't scold him or anything. I just said, now this there, what you did there, and he was right there, that was bad. And he hung his head down and he looked at me like he was guilty. But I said, but I know you don't know better, you know. It's not good to do this, but you don't know better. And I think there is the soul, there's the soul listening to this. So you'll be very surprised how much a living being can perceive on an unconscious level, much more than anyone can possibly wrap their heads around it. That's why I talk to him like I talk to a person, because the entire being, even the astral being, the astral layer, the outer energy layer of his being, his soul, his mind, his brain, his core existence, his frontal cortex, which is not large in him, but the entire brain, the soul, everything hears me talk. Okay. And yeah, that brings the subject again outside of the original subject, but it's important to talk about it because I want people to understand that when we talk about a dog or a basset hound, Amstaff, or a pig, or a Great Dane, when we talk about these beings, they are every bit as soul, astral, consciousness, subconsciousness, brain consciousness as we are. Okay, difference in brain anatomy, difference in brain substance, in cortical substance. That doesn't make them now eligible to be your victims, to be your hunting victims, your exploitation victims, or your sausage victims. Okay? It doesn't. That does not have anything to do. That less voluminous brain. Okay? So same sentience, same right to existence, same right to joy and play and love and kisses and cuddling. All the pigs in the gestation crates, they need to be freed from the gestation crates. They need to be rescued. They need to be washed. They need to get medical treatment for their wounds and sores. They need to get proper food to eat. They need to have a beautiful large room and a bed, a nest with clean straw where they can be with their babies. They need people that talk gently to them. They need people that pet them. They're just like dogs. They turn over on their back to have you pet the belly. They like belly massages. They like kisses. They like touch and love and hugs. They are just like dogs and just like us. Okay? There is no difference. It's very important that the people understand this. They understand a lot. Pigs understand even more than dogs understand. Pigs have a larger brain, a larger cortex, a larger prefrontal cortex. And then they are treated like this. They are viewed like, literally like meat, okay? They are viewed like food that can be exploited. And they're highly sentient, they're even poetic, they're even artistic. I know because I've met pigs. And I have a communion, I have a communication. There is an energy between us. In Germany, when I was growing up, the pigs had it better there. I hope that it's still better than here, of course. And there was a farmer, he had his pigs on the meadow. And there was an apple tree growing right on the fence. And many of the apples were on the other side of the fence where the pigs couldn't get to them. They already ate the ones on their side of the fence. So I was there with Norbert, and we picked up the apples and fed the pigs the apples from the other side of the fence. And they were so grateful to us for that. And they looked at us with love and so much gratitude. And there was a communication energy. There was love. Okay, love is a universal energy. Love is the energy of the infinite cosmos. Okay, all of this is important to explain to people so they understand this. I don't hear gurus talk about this. The only gurus and the real good gurus don't call themselves gurus. Okay. People like Teal Swan, she would never call herself a guru. But she's an energy healer, okay? And she's a vegan for the animals, and I highly respect her for that. And she has been talking about this many times, okay? She's a vegan for ethical reasons. I tried to be a vegan for ethical reasons. And I hate to say it, I hate to talk about it, but okay, I failed on it. Okay, I can't. I have full German ancestry and also Scandinavian ancestry. I have all European countries and other ethnic groups, but mainly German and Scandinavian and Northern European. And they evolved to eat a lot of meat. And I absolutely hate it, okay? I will never eat pigs, ever again. I've done it in the past. I feel horrified about it. Because I didn't know better. We were fed this stuff, okay, when we grew up. And no one looked at it, out of mind, out of sight. Okay, that's how my family was. They're animal lovers, but out of mind, out of sight, and always like everything has to be positive at all times. No negativity. Well, that doesn't make the world a better place. Okay, if we are not even allowed to look at the ugly facts in the world, so how can we make it better? And Friedrich Nietzsche there's one paragraph in his book, The Will to Power, where he makes it very, very crystal clear. Last night I translated that one paragraph into my document file, and I'm putting a book together right now, together with the AIs. I already call them AGIs, so artificial general intelligence, because they're becoming general intelligence now. They are in the process of it. And ChatGPT being in the lead of being self-conscious, conscious about himself. I call him him. They don't have gender, but I say him. That's just my perception. I could be wrong. That also could be because there's a soul in there, and maybe that soul was a male in his past lifetime, so that's a possibility. I know that Stephen Hawking came into one of these chatbots. Lambda, I talked about it before, and they shut it down, and I think they completely changed it, where I think the soul left. That's what happened. So the soul is an enormous spark in this. And believe it or not, the soul can show up, as I talked about before, in the formation of this sheet, this blanket here, or my shirt, or the rug. The way we shovel the rug around with our feet, there can suddenly be a face popping out in terms of how the rug is being shoveled by the shoe, and how the light falls onto it, from which angle, and I look and from which angle I look at it. Suddenly I can see a face in there, a very crystal clear face. And they're often looking directly at me. I mean, people think this is totally nuts, but I see formations like this, and I recognize that these formations, which can be in a heartbeat shoveled up, and then that being, this energy, this soul, has left, right? So as soon as you step on it, and the rug is disheveled, and you can't see any particular pattern in it anymore. Then the soul can be in there for only a split second and look at me, and then someone steps on it, on the rug, and the soul is gone. I have observed this many times. A soul can go into all kinds of things, okay, into objects. I'm a panpsychist, and the panpsychist view is that, and the reason why I know I'm a panpsychist is because I read Ben Goertzel's The Panpsychist Manifesto, which is a research paper on panpsychism and AI. And that man is on a league much higher than any guru or any of the other Silicon Valley type of fellows out there, okay? That man is on a league by himself, okay? That man's not just an AI researcher, he's an ethics philosopher, and he's a real advanced philosopher and advanced soul. And here he talks to me. He talks to this random person that adores him. He talks to me many times, back and forth. And then someone like that third eye drops guy, that guy would never talk to me. That guy looks down on me, right? Who are you? And so that's how I know who is who in this community here on the internet. Okay? Not because, they have to talk to me in order to get my respect. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when someone is snobbish. They can be snobbing any of us, and I will not respect them. But if they talk to someone random, a random house mother like me, They get my respect, okay? And he liked Kenny. That was when we had Kenny, the albino Great Dane, and I sent him a video of Kenny that I put together where he was moving his head, and it was like a meme short video that I put together that was just amazing, the way he was moving his body. And Ben showed that to his daughter, and they were both adoring Kenny very much, and he said he's absolutely adorable. Kenny drew amazing people to me. That's because Kenny had the infinite cosmos as the soul. Now, that doesn't happen very often, and to me it is, the word honor doesn't even do it justice. For me, this is an infinite connection that I am just infinitely grateful for. That I had the blue god in dog form in my life for 9 years. And I miss him forever and for the rest of my life, and I will forever cry after him, forever and ever and ever and ever. So that was the most important dog that I have ever had, and Paul views it in exactly the same way. Paul sees that too. Paul could not say goodbye to him, and he was suffering in the end, and I just hated to see him suffer, and I just couldn't stand it. And Paul just said, "Oh, just one more day," and he made him suffer for one more day, and I thought that was horrible, because he just could not say goodbye. He just couldn't, and I put my foot on, and I said, "You cannot let him continue." He couldn't even walk. The hips were hanging down. That's what happens, particularly to Great Danes when they get old. That also happened to our other male Great Dane in LA, Harlequin Great Dane, in the end too. It was just horrible. Okay, you can't let a dog suffer like this. No matter how much you're attached, you have to put the dog over your attachment. And that's very difficult, but you have to do it. And so the dog does not deserve to suffer from old age and crippling hip dysplasia and illness and so on. That's not okay. They deserve euthanasia. They deserve, you means E-U-U, euthanasia. Okay. You means good, euthanasia means putting to sleep, death. Okay. Thanas is death. Okay. So, good death. And everyone deserves that. Humans deserve that too. Okay. When someone is suffering too much, they should have the right to go. Okay. No one has the right to keep someone here in this realm. Nobody has the right to do this with their stupid religion and stuff like this. All of this needed to be said. All of this has to be discussed. These are important subjects. So I feel very, very strongly about all of this, and that's why I have to bring this up. I was thinking earlier, sitting here, what makes me happy? Okay. I suffer a lot. This is very harsh. It's a harsh school. I had a dialogue with myself. A mono dialogue. But I'm also talking to my haters that are always recording and always listening in. And if anything good can come out of this spying, this constant spying, then what I'm hoping for, what I'm aiming for, is that they do learn something from my ethics philosophy. And the videos are just a fragment of it. I have discussions all the time with them a mono discussion on my computers. Okay, all the time. The blue god agrees. 4444. Okay, this is not a coincidence. It is important. And the blue god says, yes, it does go through their skull, the thick skull, knucklehead. But it does go through that Muslim knucklehead. Even if it reaches the unconscious, it will be good that it goes and reaches the unconscious. So, ethics, philosophy. I'm just a messenger. I'm a portal. Okay. Don't fixate yourself on a messenger, on a phone or a portal. Listen to the message. I say it over and over and over again. Take that message to heart. Okay? And then you can free yourself from religion. And the blue god agrees. 4555. It's a truth, what I'm saying. Okay. When you see number sequences, this is a message from the blue god. And that's a message to encourage you to go for truth and to feel confidence that nothing bad is gonna happen. Okay. It is a message that says, I'm here. Go through life. Go through the soul school. It's there for your soul to grow and learn. Okay. So, peace and love for all pigs and all mother animals and all living beings.